Good morning. Welcome to another live feed on Rashad YouTube channel. Let's get into the Word of God. Sermon on the Mount, chapter 30. Great teachings of Jesus. Matthew chapter 5, verse 39 to 42. Time to give in. If someone strikes you on his right cheek, turn to him others also. Someone wants to sue you, take your tunic and have your cloak as well. But if someone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you. Do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. All right, let's get into it. The concept of Matthew chapter 5, verse 40 to 42 goes back to the quotation an eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. Under the Mosaic law, you had a right to defend yourself as long as you didn't go too far. You cannot get revenge by killing them if they only broke your tooth. Jesus, however, told us to turn the cheek if you're slack. We saw that this meant not to vindicate ourselves. Let God do it. There comes a time when we waive our rights that might be upheld by the Mosaic law, but it is the kingdom of heaven we are wishing to inherit. This means living by a much larger standard, much higher standard than that entailed in the law. If someone wants to sue you and take your cloak, take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. Someone forces you to go 1 mile, go from 2 miles. Civil law was to show how the people of God are to govern themselves. Principle of the kingdom of heaven show how the family of God should live with each other. Give to the one who asks you and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. People who offend. Putting this passage in context, we assume that the people we are going to meet up with are sometimes those who can only be called evil. But Jesus said, do not resist an evil person. You can assume there will be unreasonable people, those kind of behavior you will face all the time. These will not, it will always be people that will care not to grieve the Holy Spirit. They will strike you on the face. They will take you to court for your foes. They will command you to walk with them for a mile. They will ask for money, probably with the neck of make you feel guilty if you don't accommodate them. This is a reminder that there are evil people about, he says you. They will make insulting remarks to you or about you. They will make unreasonable demands. They will take advantage of you. They'll be ruthless in their pursuits. So this reminder should help us to not be surprised that there are people like that in this world, and you will meet them. Don't be surprised when they show up or where they show up. There are people like that, says Jesus. They sometimes appear to be godly, believe it or not. If we meet people, they are evil. People like this will take the initiative. They're not passive. The offense, the ones who will speak evil to you or of you, will use you. Use you. People like this, we will take the initiative. They are not passive, they're on the fence. The ones who will speak evil to you or of you will sue you if given a chance. They will take unfair advantage of you. They will put you on the spot and never blush for being that way. Instead of demanding your rights, you waive them if it is in the kingdom of God you want to inherit. Turn the cheek and let them slap you again. You need to be prudent in interpreting Jesus' words. Never forget that origin in the 3rd century fools he had himself castrated because of Matthew chapter 5, verse 29. Yet Paul said the authorities that exist have been established by God. He is God's servant to do you good. If you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword for nothing. He is God's servant. He is not bribed to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Even if Jesus said to the high priest, if I spoke the truth, why did you strike me? Get civil justice. Paul appealed to his rights as a Roman citizen, and that the magistrates protect him and escort him from prison. Therefore, when Jesus does, these were not applied. Satan himself would take advantage of a person like this. First of all, Jesus' words certainly do not refer to sexual, seductive, or sadistic abuse. Neither does Jesus mean for you to endure mental or physical cruelty whether from a spouse or a parent. Jesus is not talking about this. Neither is Jesus, nor is Jesus talking about the motivation behind guilt. That's when one points the finger makes you feel guilty. I want you to bless me financially, since you have the ability to do it. A verse like this does not apply. Your inner spirit testifies that God is not behind the appeal. There's a section on how to recognize a true prophet. So there have been so many traveling prophets in those days. You need to be so true to yourself and your inner witness before giving to every person who comes along. You will sometimes do something more harm than good by giving in to his or her demands, like a habit of drink, drugs, prostitution, possibly laziness. But there's a time when you give in. You show prudence by serving them. You turn a cheek as opposed to retaliation by loving them. You know in your heart you will do them good. You must do it. Eschewing vindication of yourself is always right. It's never wrong to be gracious. People of ownership. Nothing is given to us on the basis of ownership, said Joseph Tyson. Only stewardship. This means that all we have is on a loan from God. We are stewards. It is required of stewards that we be faithful. The heart of what Jesus is talking about in the Sermon on the Mount is vindication and the principle of non-vindication. The heart of the matter is one's ego, one's self-esteem. But he also brings up the issue of ownership in your possessions. Well, what makes you different from anyone else? What do you have that you did not receive? And if you did receive it, why do you boast as though you did not? So what you have, whether gifting or financial blessing, is yours on loan, what God has given you for the moment. They say, I have what I have because I have worked for it. Others have worked as hard as you, but you don't have what you have. I am brilliant. I am clever. Who gave you that mind of yours? It is not also true that there are people as brilliant as you, but who don't have what you have. What we have then is what God has given us. What God gives, He doesn't take away. If you lose it, it wasn't yours to keep in the first place. So we should always consider that we have not, that we have what we have is not our own. You are not your own. You were bought with a price. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 to 20 says that. These words come at the end of a chapter in which Paul upbraids his beloved Corinthians for suing each other. I say this to shame you. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 5. Job said, this Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. We almost learn to stay detached from whatever we own. When we try the hardest to hold on to something, we're in the gravest danger of losing it. Christians should not sue one another, according to Paul. If you are a Christian, never sue another Christian. He or she sues you, settle out of court. The very fact that you have lawsuits among you means you have been completely defeated it already. Why not be wronged? And why not rather be cheated? There's a time to give in. Your cloak was an alienable right. Our time is not our own. Either time is God's domain. When people interrupt us, want our time or circumstances during the day, later when we have so much to get done, we must remember that time is God's domain. He lets things happen. We are very, very busy. To slow us down, perhaps, to get our attention. But we learn to accept that all interruptions, however they come, are within God's sovereign permission. Jesus' day, Roman soldiers who had occupied the nation of Israel allowed to demand that people they met on the road carry their military equipment. This shows how little a solid family can inconvenience us, busy though we may be. He said that if someone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. He takes you your time, it requires your energy, but do it. Says Joe, Jesus, go with the 2nd mile. What do you have that you did not receive? You receive what you have from God. Our money is not our own. every good perfect gift comes from God, as from above, and coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, does not change like shifting shadows. Whether it's tithing to the church or helping the poor, what we give is to the Lord Himself. Now they judge that Christ will answer Jesus Himself. Oh, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty, give you something to drink? When did you see a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did you see you sick or in prison? When did we see you sick or in prison or to go visit you? He will reply, tell you the truth. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me. If anyone has material possessions, sees a brother in need, and has no pity on him, how can the love of God be in him? Remember, too, that we should not forget to entertain strangers. For doing so, some people have entertained strangers without knowing it. Promise of opportunity. If Jesus puts us in these difficult verses, should be seen as promise of opportunity. The test of where we are spiritually. When you are verbally abused, what is your reaction? You retort with bitter words and defend yourself. You show you are not where God wants you to be in your spiritual privilege. When you turn the other cheek, keeping silent, as Jesus did before Herod and Pilate, you show that there's progress. You're on your way toward inheriting the kingdom of heaven. When you are sued, settle out of court, don't give the world an opportunity to laugh. Sit on the side of being financially exploited, says Paul. It shows a detachment from worldly things. This pleases the Lord. When you're inconvenienced by having to give your precious time, see as an opportunity to show graciousness, time is God's domain. He let that person interrupt you. He let that accident happen. He knows you're busy. Of course he does. He also wants you and made to be more like his son. See the inconvenience as an unscheduled appointment from God, not to mention what you will do for another person. Our time is not our own. When you are put on the spot, whether for a gift or a loan, chances are you will make more likely regret turning a person's life. Second principle, applying the second principle. Okay, it means not only time with people, but people with their sin or problems. Care about saying, I can't help you. Try with them one more time. Go to the second mile by letting people use you. Your time, your help, your wisdom. It's time to give in. Go to the second mile is spend time with people who bore you. Who you without your saying a word, breathe outside, show graciousness. Be willing to spend time with other interesting people. Use the extra with eccentric people, egocentric people, those who can only talk about themselves. Maybe they're alone. It's time to give in. You go to the second mile by letting people point the finger at you. You want to say stop it. Let them get away with it by your being completely and sweetly silent. Go the second mile. Go the second mile with those who don't come up to your expectations. They disappoint you, let you down. Love them. Go the second mile with those who are just slow to learn, not quick or intelligent like you. Be patient with those who have an undeveloped theology. What good is your theology if you aren't showing the love of Jesus to people caught on as you have? Go the second mile with those who don't treat you with respect. When you know that a person's words are motivated by jealousy, or reveal that you know what the real problem is, go the second mile. There's a time to be born, time to die, time to plant, time to uproot, time to kill, time to heal, time to tear down, time to build, a time to weep, time to laugh, and time to give in. Give in, let them use you. On the Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 2 to 4. Rule of thumb is if you're not facing sexual or physical abuse, send on the great side of graciousness. You won't be sorry for being gracious. God is gracious. Keeps going the second mile with me, with you and two. All right, so me in chapter 31 tomorrow, Matthew chapter 5, verse 43 and 44. How about you have heard it, that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Chapter 31. Let's get into this Ultimate NBA. Ultimate NBA history book, what if book. Talk about the Knicks, their history, the early years, Who's the first player? Who's the player that scored the first basket at what is known as November 1st, 1946, Ossie Sketman. Sketman. Shetman. He scored the first basket in the new league's very first game between the Toronto Huskies, the City of Toronto, and the Knicks. The Knicks would beat the Huskies that night by the score of 68-66. BAA founded on June 6, 1946, owners of major ice hockey arenas in the Midwestern, Northeastern United States and Canada. The original franchise was the New York Knicks, Boston Celtics, Toronto Huskies, Washington Capitals, Providence, Stephen Oilers, Philadelphia Warriors, Chicago Stags, St. Louis Bombers, Cleveland Rebels, Detroit Falcons, and Pittsburgh Ironmen. There already existed a number of independent American professional basketball leagues at this time, including the ABL, NBL. BAA was the first to have franchises in major American cities and larger arenas. The Knicks finished that first season 33-27, lost in the semifinals to the Philadelphia Warriors, who would go on to win the first BAA title. 1947-48, Knicks lost to the Capitals in the BAA quarterfinals. 1948, it was led by 20-year-old rookie from Colgate University, Carl Braun, averaging 14.3 points a game. On August 3rd, 1949, the BAA will merge with the capital competing NBL, being conducting the BAA always in the Empire State Building, sadly legally becoming the NBA. 1950, the Knicks lost to Syracuse Nationals in 1950 Eastern Division Finals. New York will be select the second African American player in NBA history, Nat Clifton from Xavier University, 1950 NBA draft. Played a large role, averaging 8.6 points, 7.6 rebounds. They had a 36-30 season, lost in 7 games, 51 NBA Finals to the Rochester Royals. Knicks lost in 7 games to the Minneapolis Lakers. And star center George Mikan in 1952 NBA Finals. They had their best season yet, 1952-53, going 47-23, having 7 players averaged double figures in scoring. A route to their third straight NBA Finals appearance, lost to Mikan and Lakers again, this time 4-1. We'll have 2 more winning seasons, early playoff exits before experiencing their first losing season in 1957-58, finishing 35-37. The Knicks made 1 playoff appearances in 1959 before having 8 straight losing seasons from 1959 to 1967, missing this playoffs year until 1967. So also got a really sweet ticket in 1964 NBA draft, 8th pick. Dick Marnette was acquired from the Lakers. But things changed in the 1967 draft when they drafted Walt Clyde Frazier out of Southern Illinois and North Dakota for Phil Jackson in the 1967 draft, 17th pick. Frazier was the number 5 pick. So the Knicks will merge as a NBA contending team with Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, and Phil Jackson, all rookie team. They was able to get Dave DeBusschere. He dealt Walt Bellamy and Howard Kamars to the Detroit Pistons for elite rebounder, hustle player, defensive stalwart Dave DeBusschere. DeBusschere fit like a glove, core of the aforementioned players, and Bill Bradley and Cassie Russell, and elevated the Knicks to the NBA contender status once again. In the 68-69 season, they lost to Celtics in the Eastern Division Finals in Game 6, 106-105, despite the 32-point rebound performance by Reed. Then when Russell retired, the Celtics era officially was over. In the 70s, the Knicks were the favorites in the East Division. They won the championship. 1969-70 had the NBA's best record, 16-22, which Reed won the MVP, averaged 21.7 points a game, 13.9 rebounds. Frazier was all NBA first team, averaged 20.9 points and 8.2 assists, career high. They was able to beat Bullets 7 games. Against Bullet seed that had West us had overall. 127-114. David Busher and Barnett had 28 points. They beat the Bucks in 5 games. Rookie Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Eastern Division Finals. Then they went to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1953. They lost 3 straight NBA Finals. 1951, 1953 against the Lakers. They played against the Lakers in that year, 70. And they beat the NBA's very first super team, with Chamberlain, Jerry West, and Elgin Baylor. This series was known for bullets coming out the tunnel at Square Garden. They won that game 7. They won score 113, one night 1399. While Claire Fraser had 36 points, 19 assists, 7 rebounds, 12 of 14, 12 of 17 shooting. 1971-72, the Knicks wasn't able to win the championship. They lost in 7 games to the Bullets in the Eastern Conference Finals. 93-91. In 72, they did get to the finals, but they lost to a great Lakers team, 69-13 record. They won the title again in 1973, beating the Lakers in the rematch. They probably beat the Celtics in 7 games. They won 7 games? Yeah, 94-78. That Celtics team in 72-73 had won 60 games, 58 games or more. So in 1973 NBA Finals, Lakers won game 1, 115 to 112 in Los Angeles, but the Knicks won the next 4 games. That'd be the best of times for the Knicks. And the Knicks slid into mediocrity for the remainder of the 70s. It wasn't as good. They had injuries, addiction, scandal that marred the Knicks franchise in the early 80s. Like Rick Richardson, Cartwright, it was a full dip in production during the 1981-82 season. It was investigation on the Knicks using cocaine and stuff like that. Then Bernard King comes around, becomes the king of New York, becomes the face of the franchise in 1982-83, averaging 21.9 points a game. Took it to another 83-84 season, averaging 26.3 points a game, 5.1 rebounds a game, shooting 57.2% from the field, and all NBA first team. He averaged 42.6 points a game, 8 rebounds in the first round series against the Pistons, Isaiah Thomas. He was known for a game 5 game where he scored 44 points, grabbed 12 rebounds in the win. But they lost to the Celtics in the following series, 7 games. As they lost that game. 121-104. 84-85. Unfortunately, King had knee issues, injured his knee in 1985. Despite that, King averaged 32.9 points a game, 5.8 rebounds a game, 3.7 assists in 55 games. So they get the draft lottery. They go 24 and 58 and get the number one pick of the draft. And they end up picking Patrick Ewing. So the era of Patrick Ewing begins. Then getting off to the best start. It was 23 and 59. Then it was 24 and 58. They turned around when they got Mark Jackson. They went to the playoffs in 88. Lost in 4 games to the Boston Celtics. 89, they went to the semifinals against the Bulls, lost to them. They had a 52 and 30 record, lost to them in 6 games. In the 90s rolls around, they get Maurice Cheeks. They traded Rick Pitino. Stu Jackson became the head coach. Rick Pitino stepped down. They overcame a 2-0 deficit and beat the Celtics in 5 games. Patrick Ewing had 31 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. Won 121, 114. Then they lost to the Pistons. What was it, 5 games. In 91, they got swept by the Bulls. Then Pat Riley comes in, 91-92 season. They become, championship contender. They had a physical core. Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Xavier and Dan, Mark Jackson, John Starks, and Anthony Mason. They go 51-31, and they lose in 7 games to the Bulls. This became like a rivalry. Then they made the trade, 3-team trade that included Mark Jackson. They got Doc Rivers, Charles Smith. They have a great season. They go 16-22. Ewing averaged 24.2 points a game, 12.1 rebounds a game, 2 blocks. He had won 60 games that year. They beat Pacers in 4 games. They beat the Hornets in 5 games. They won 60 games, yeah. They lost to the Bulls in 6 games, blew a 2-0 lead. Self-explanatory with that. Michael Jordan retired. Knicks make it to the finals in 94, but lose to the Houston Rockets. He beat the Bulls during the process, but Michael Jordan was in the NBA. Wasn't in the NBA, he got retired. So he beat them in 7 games without Jordan being on that team, the Bulls. He beat the Pacers in 7 games. He only had 24 points, 22 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 block shots. And then he lose to the Houston Rockets. 7 games. King Olajuwon did his thing. Game 7, King Olajuwon had 25 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. You only had 17 points, 10 rebounds. So they kept coming up short against Reggie Miller and Michael Jordan, 95-96. They were 2 and they engaged this rivalry against Miami Heat. Great rivalry, but both teams didn't win a championship. They did get to the finals in 99. They lost to the Spurs. What year was that? Yeah, 99. was in 5 games to the Spurs. So the millennium comes about the 2000s. What will haunt the Knicks franchise, especially during the Dolan era, was signing Allen Houston to a 6-year, $100 million contract in summer 2001. Houston was 30 at the time, but ended up playing two more productive and healthy seasons for the Knicks in 2001, 2002, 2002, 2003 season before succumbing to knee injuries and retired in 2005 at age 33. Despite having a very good NBA successful career, a few special playoff moments like the buzzer beater against the Heat '99. Allen Houston's legacy is now more tied to the albatross of his contract because Houston was one of the first few truly untradeable and franchise crippling major contracts in the era of free agency, set back the Knicks' finance for years. His contract had such a bad effect that the NBA instituted the Allen Houston rule in their collective bargaining agreement in 2005. The provision allowed franchise amnesty clause provision that allowed NBA teams to lease one player without his salary counting against the NBA luxury tax threshold. That's it. Skip around a little bit. It talks about also like a list of faded stars the Knicks acquired during the 2000s, like Glenn Rice, Mark Jackson, Dikembe Mutombo, Timmy McDyess, Penny Hardaway, Jalen Rose, Steve Francis, Trace McGrady. So you got Lynn Sanity, Jeremy Lin. Also got Carmelo Anthony and Mario Stoudemire. They go to the semifinals. They lost to the Pacers. Let's get into this. What if the Knicks never traded their first round pick? And the Nuggets' first round pick in 1987 NBA draft. What if the Knicks never traded their first round pick and the Nuggets' first round pick in 1987 NBA draft? Let's get into that. Close out. All right, paint the picture of the Knicks franchise heading into the 1987 NBA draft. Patrick Ewing had finished his sophomore season in the NBA, averaging 21, 9, and 2. There was a roster that was composed of injured former stars from the franchise, Bernard King, Bill Cartwright, averaging an average mid-career role players finish 24 and 58. So the Knicks made three trades involving 1987 first-round draft picks. Early in the 1986-87 season, they acquired the Nuggets first-round pick in a trade for Darrell Walker, October 30th, 1986. Walker was a 25-year-old point guard who had averaged 10.6 points, 4.2 assists, 1.8 steals in 3 seasons with the Knicks after being selected in the 1983 draft, 12th overall. Then on October 30th, the Knicks dealt that same Nuggets pick, the second round pick in 1988, to the Bulls for Jawan Odom. This trade obviously looks bad now, as Odom was a 29-year-old backup center that never averaged more than 7.4 points a game in his 10-year NBA career in 6-point seasons where he averaged under 4 points per game. So the final trade the Knicks made during the 1986-87 season was the most blockbuster of the bunch. They traded their own first-round draft pick, 1987 NBA draft, along with the second round in 1992 to the Supersonics of Seattle for veteran guard Gerald Henderson and the Sonics first-round pick in 1987. These three trades, the Knicks traded away a solid 25-year-old point guard and the multiple top 8 picks in the 1987 NBA draft and ended up with Joe Henderson and Mark Jackson. Not a terrible haul, typically, but when you consider what they missed out on with those top 10 picks, it's cringeworthy. The number 5 pick of the 1987 NBA draft, the Knicks' own draft pick, ended up being Scottie Pippen. The number 8 pick acquired from the Nuggets, then dealt to the Bulls, ended up being Olden Polynice. The Bulls assigned swap rights to Polynice and Pippen, which also will haunt the Sonics Thunder franchise forever. The Knicks used the number 18 pick to select Mark Jackson. When you consider that the Knicks already had Ewing and Cartwright at center, had a young piece at small forward and power forward in Kenny Walker and Joe Wilkins, would have Joe Henderson at shooting guard in this scenario. But their biggest need would have been shooting guard. Reggie Miller was drafted number 10 by the Pacers. So can you imagine the Knicks came out of the next 87 NBA draft with two of the top 10 players of the 90s, like Scottie Pippen and Reggie Miller, two of the best three players on their biggest Eastern Conference rivals in the early to mid 90s? What if there was a world where Jordan never got the sports world's greatest sidekick of all time, and Scottie Pippen, and instead of Reggie Miller crushing the Knicks' dreams, if he would Spike Lee courtside, he was celebrating it. Would the Knicks have been the greatest NBA dynasty of the 90s, not the Bulls? Would Jordan have been a better version of Allen Iverson as a guy who consistently lead the league in scoring, attain value, but never reached the NBA mountaintop? Knicks' alternate reality. Alternate reality, where Pippen and Miller team up with Ewing in 1987. Knicks made a big improvement in 1987-88 season in reality, finishing 38-44 with losing to Larry Bird and Celtics 3-1 in the first round of 88 playoffs. Mark Jackson was a better player as a rookie than Miller and Pippen was at the time, averaging 32.8 points, 10.6 assists, 4.8 rebounds, 2.5 steals, 39.6 minutes per game. Miller and Pippen came off the bench for the Pacers and Bulls, averaging 10 points and 7.9 points per game, respectively. Knicks likely finished in the low 30s in wins without Jackson's production at point guard and go probably 31-51. They didn't own their own first-round pick in the next 88 NBA draft as a result of a trade to acquire Charles Oakley from the Bulls. They would receive the Bulls' first-round pick. In reality, select point guard Rod Strickland. Pippen and Miller made a big leap year in year 2 of their careers as Pippen averaged 14.4 points, and 6.1 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.9 steals. Miller averaged 16 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 3.1 assists. Pippen would like what have shirt. What good for starting out? You had starting lineup of Rod Strickland, Reggie Miller, Scottie Pippen, Charles Oakley, and Patrick Ewing. Mark Jackson had the best season of his NBA career. One All-Star appearance in 88, 89. Strictly like would have been able to match Jackson's production, having Pippen and Miller on the wing means the Knicks finished with a similar, slightly better record than the 52-30 record they had in 1989. Probably go 55-27. They still the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference in 1989 NBA playoffs. They still beat the Charles Barkley in the 76ers at first round. They faced off against Jordan and the Bulls round two with Pippen there to defend Jordan instead of defending the best wing player on the other team for Jordan. The Knicks beat the Bulls and make the next 89 Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons. The Pistons team was on a mission for the NBA title, though Thomas will have abused 22-year-old rookie point guard Strickland. Pistons win in five. The Knicks took a little step back in reality next 89 and 90 season. Oakland missed 21 games. Jackson and Wilkins seeing their production take a dip, finishing 45-37. Miller and Pippen become NBA All-Stars that season. In reality, Strickland makes a leap in the year two. Knicks go 57-25 in the next 89-90. They will lose in the Eastern Conference Finals against the defending champion Pistons in 7 games. In the next 1991 season, it would appear that the Knicks will be primed to take over the Eastern Conference in the NBA. They still able to sign John Starks as a free agent and 6 man to back up Strickland and Miller. Pistons were on their last legs. Pippen lists Bulls team with Jordan likely are the Knicks' only batters making the NBA Finals. They go probably 62-20, number 1 seed. They beat the Hawks at 1-1. They overcome finally the Pistons in 5 games in 91. They face off with Jordan Hartman, Mark Jackson. Let's say the Bulls end up taking him in the 1987 NBA draft. It's an inferior version of Scottie Pippen in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals. Jordan and the Bulls shot the Knicks in Game 7 in Madison Square Garden. The Bulls go on to beat the Lakers in the 1991 Finals as they did in reality. Jordan dropped 60 in Game 7. Knicks come back with the vengeance 1991-92 season, hiring Pat Riley. They go 64-18. The best record in the NBA. Patrick Ewing was the MVP. Starks wins the 6th man of the year. Scottie Pippen and Reggie Miller are All-Stars. They sweep their first 2 rounds and they face the Jordan Bulls in 92 NBA playoffs. This time the Knicks are too much to handle with Pete, Ewing, Pippen, Miller, Oakley, and Starks emergence. They beat the Bulls in 6 games. They advanced to the NBA Finals. Against the Blazers, they beat the Blazers 4-1 in their first NBA title, to win their first NBA title in 19 years. Patrick Ewing is officially a New York sports legend. Greatest Knicks of all time by the end of his 20s. Then 92-93, have a tiny bit of him go over 54-28. Third in the East, they defeat the Bulls again, 7 games. The next 93 Eastern Conference Finals before losing the all-time great Phoenix Suns team featuring Charles Barkley and Kevin Johnson 6 games. Jordan leaves to play baseball in 1993, and East Conference becomes more wide open for the Knicks in 1994. With Jordan going, Pippen and Miller on the Knicks, they finished 65-17, sweep their way to the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals before meeting Shaq and Penny and the Orlando Magic. The Conference Finals, they beat the Magic in 5 before playing Hakeem Olajuwon in the Finals in 1994. The Rockets don't have enough firepower to keep up with the Knicks. Losing 5 games, the Knicks win their second NBA championship in 30 years, proclaimed as the dynasty of the 90s. 1993-94 Knicks entered the conversation with the 86 Celtics, 87 Lakers, 72 Lakers for the greatest single team in NBA history. In 95, the Hughes Vegas to repeat. Philly died at 23 for the Eastern Conference Final. Eastern Conference. They lost to their 7th straight. For the 7th straight season, it goes to Eastern Conference Finals. They match with the Atlanta Magic again. Shout out players Ewing. Penny Hardaway breaks out, but the core of Ewing, Pippen, Miller, Starks, and Oakley and Strickland are too much. And the Knicks win series 4-2 in the NBA Finals in 95 and captured their 3rd NBA title in 4 years. They face off in a rematch with the Houston Rockets again, this time in 6 games to win their 3rd championship in the 90s. Reggie Miller was NBA Finals MVP, averaged 27 points per game for the series. Then there comes more injuries, take their toll in the Knicks in 95-96. They go 52-30. Magic beat the Knicks in 7 games in the 1996 Eastern Conference semifinals. Magic beat the Bulls in the 1996 Eastern Conference Finals before losing to the Seattle Sonics 7 games in the 1996 NBA Finals. People forget how good the Sonics team was. They won 64 games. It's kind of 72-win Bulls team to lose in 6 games in reality. 1996. 1996 NBA offseason was crazy. Bulls pull off a trade for Alonzo Mourning instead of Miami Heat. A trio of Jordan Mourning and Rodman dominated East Conference in the 1996-97 season. Shaq still goes to the Lakers in free agency. The Knicks rebound from this year before to go 16-22. Scottie Pippen, Knicks first team All NBA. The Knicks and Bulls sweep their way to the colossal Eastern Conference Finals matchup. Jordan and Bulls pull out a 4-2 series victory to make the 1997 NBA Finals, where they beat the Utah Jazz in 7 games. Ewing and Pippen dealt with injuries in reality 1997-98 season. And the Knicks are led by Reggie Miller, still managed a piece. He had a 50-win season, but loses to Jordan and the Bulls in 6 games in the 1998 Eastern Conference Finals. Jordan retires and heads to the lockout in 1999. The Knicks are able to piece together for one last NBA Finals run from the aging core. 1998 NBA 1998-99 season, go 31-19, making the 1999 NBA Finals, losing to Tim Duncan of Spurs, 42. So the Knicks will win 3 championships and 4 NBA Finals appearances. That's revisionist history. So the ultimate universe outcomes and possibilities will be, if they revise the history, revisionist history, is that the Knicks end up with Scottie Pippen and Reggie Miller in the 1987 draft, in the NBA draft, and that Scottie Pippen never becomes the greatest sidekick in NBA history with Michael Jordan in the 1990s. Reggie Miller never becomes the face of the Indiana Pacers for 15 years and the franchise's greatest player. Patrick Ewing is viewed as a top 10 player in NBA history, as a winner of 3 NBA titles, 2 Finals MVP awards, 1 MVP award in 1991-92. Michael Jordan wins 3 NBA titles instead of 6. This is discussed for the greatest player in NBA history, but not universally regarded that way. Hakeem Olajuwon's legacy takes a big hit. He never wins an NBA title, like the greatest player in NBA history, never won a championship. Charles Barkley wins the NBA championship with the Suns in 1993. Wasn't him to top 10 stats all time. Seattle Sonics win an NBA title in 1996. Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp see a huge boost in their legacies. They probably never leave Seattle. The 90s are viewed as a decade of parity, with 2 great franchises winning 3 championships in the Bulls and the Knicks, 4 other teams winning an NBA title. Pistons in 1990, Suns in 1993, Sonics in 1996, and Spurs in 1999. New York is viewed as title town, at the center of the sports world. And it's 10 years from 1990 to 2000, as it wins 9 major American professional sports championships, with the Yankees 4, Knicks 3, Rangers 1, the Giants 1. Right, so I'm done with Volume 2 of the Ultimate NBA History and What If book, Volume 2. So I'm done with that. I'll be in Volume 3 tomorrow. That done. So with Volume 3, we're talking about Oklahoma City Thunder, Seattle Sonics. Talk about their history. Now talk about the what if with the Oklahoma City Seattle Supersonics. What if? So they went from, it used to be Seattle Supersonics, then they relocated to Oklahoma City, which they are currently now. The what if I'll be talking about is, what if the Sonics had traded Shawn Kemp with Scottie Pippen in 1994? That's it for today, man. Be Sermon on the Mount. Well, that'll be chapter 31. Chapter 31, love your enemy. Matthew chapter 5, verse 43 and 44. We read about that. You have heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Against that tomorrow. Love your enemy. Oklahoma City Thursday, our Supersonic. So that's it for today. Like, subscribe, comment. Not comment. I don't need the comments. I just want subscriptions, subscribers, and likes. If you like it, hit the like button. Subscribe, share it, the channel if you like it. Until then, talk to you tomorrow.